Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 4 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Philadelphia 76ers and Charlotte Hornets. The Sixers are rolling into Charlotte for a showdown with the Hornets, and let's be real, it's shaping up to be a grind. Both squads are limping into this one with key players sidelined, and that's had a major impact on their seasons. Philly's sitting at a SOSO 7-6, while Charlotte is drowning at 7-18, still trying to stay afloat without LaMelo Ball steering the ship. For the Sixers, everything hinges on whether Joel Embiid suits up. After a sinus fracture, Embiid's status is up in the air, and without him, Philly's offense has been, well, rough. They're barely putting up 105 points a game, good for 29th in the league, and rookie Jared McCain's absence following knee surgery hasn't helped. But if there's a silver lining, it's the duo of Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. Maxey's speed and scoring touch are electric, and George's steady hand as a veteran could be the lifeline the Sixers need. Against a Hornets defense that hasn't exactly been a brick wall, these two could do some damage. The Hornets, on the other hand, have been flat-out lost without LaMelo. Losing your top dog, who's dropping 31 a night with nearly 7 dimes, will do that to a team. Since he went down, Charlotte's dropped 9 of their last 10, and the offense has completely sputtered. They're second to last in scoring at just under 107 points per game, and their shooting? Yikes. A league-worst 42.6% from the field doesn't exactly scream threatening. Unless they tighten up their defense and find ways to cash in on fast breaks, it's hard to see where the points will come from. These two have already clashed twice this season, and Philly came out on top in both contests, mostly by locking Charlotte down. The Sixers' defense held the Hornets to under 41% shooting and just 30% from deep. Charlotte managed to keep things close by mucking it up defensively, limiting Philly to 110 points or less, but their inability to score was their undoing. So, what are we looking at here? Another defensive slugfest feels inevitable. Both teams hang their hats on defense and rank in the league's top 15 in efficiency on that end, but their offenses are stuck in quicksand. This one won't be a shootout. It's all about grit and grind. If you're looking at the betting angles, it's hard not to lean toward the under. Neither team has shown much firepower, and with the injury clouds hanging overhead, it's tough to see that changing. Philly's defense, plus Maxey's tempo and George's veteran savvy, gives them a slight edge, but their inconsistency can't be ignored. Meanwhile, the Hornets are going to have to claw their way through this game without a reliable go-to scorer. My call? The Sixers should squeak this one out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Hornets cover the plus 4.5 point spread. It's probably not going to be a game for the highlight reels, but if you love scrappy basketball, this one could keep you hooked. Maxey's ability to push the pace will be key, and if Charlotte can't keep up, Philly's talent advantage should carry them to the win.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Detroit Pistons and Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are cruising into this matchup with some serious momentum after stringing together 4 straight wins. They've been taking care of business against solid teams like the Lakers, Suns, Cavs, and Raptors. But as much as they've looked locked in lately, their road form has been hit or miss, which adds an interesting layer to this game. On the flip side, the Pistons, while scrappy, are stumbling, dropping 4 of their last 5 games. Yeah, a couple of those losses came against the Celtics, no shame in losing to the reigning champs, but Detroit's still figuring out how to stay consistent. Detroit is no pushover, though. They've already matched a good portion of last year's win total, and you can see they're making strides. Cade Cunningham? This guy is the real deal. He's the heartbeat of this team, and his numbers are ridiculous. 23.6 points, 9.3 assists, and 7.3 rebounds per game. The dude's flirting with a triple-double almost every night, and when he's cooking, Detroit has a fighting chance. Just look at what he did against the Knicks: 29 points, 15 dimes, and 10 boards. That's franchise cornerstone stuff right there. Detroit's young core is showing some spark, too. Jaden Ivey is putting up solid numbers, averaging 17.3 points a game, and rookie Ronald Holland, too, has shown flashes that make you think this kid could be special. But turnovers are a killer for this team. They're coughing it up way too much, and their offense hasn't quite found its groove yet. On the glass, though, they're monsters, ranking 5th in the league in rebounding, and that effort keeps them in gains. Miami, on the other hand, has been steady but not without cracks. Tyler Herro is balling out as their top scorer, dropping over 24 points a night, and Bam Adebayo is doing his thing inside. There's even chatter about Jimmy Butler being on the trade block, which is wild considering what he's meant to this franchise. But hey, if Miami's thinking long-term, maybe that move makes sense. For now, though, the Heat are clicking with their balanced attack. They're top 10 in offense and solid on the defensive end. This game has all the makings of a slow-paced, grinded-out battle. Both teams rank near the bottom of the league in pace, and that plays right into Miami's strengths. Their defense is stingy, and they don't let games turn into track meets. But let's not overlook Detroit. The Pistons have a knack for hanging around and keeping things tight, especially against Miami. They've covered the spread in 8 of their last 10 matchups with the Heat, and they've already split the season series with a win each. This isn't the kind of game Miami can just coast through. If Cade comes out swinging and Detroit takes care of the ball, they've got a shot to make Miami sweat. The Heat might have the better roster on paper, but their inconsistency on the road opens the door for the Pistons to at least keep it close. I'm expecting a low-scoring grind, with Miami likely pulling out the W, but I'm riding with Detroit to cover the plus 5-point spread. This Pistons squad has some grit, and they're not going to make it easy. Watch out for a scrappy battle that might be closer than the experts think. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Chicago Bulls and Toronto Raptors. This matchup between the Raptors and Bulls has all the makings of a gritty, hard-fought game. You've got two teams that have been wildly inconsistent, both looking for any spark to turn their seasons around. For Chicago, they're sitting at 11-15, hanging around the middle of the Eastern Conference, and trying to claw their way back to .500. They've shown some flashes lately, taking 3 wins in their last 5 outings, including a solid 109-95 victory over Charlotte. That game wasn't perfect, but it showed that the Bulls can grind out wins even when their offense isn't firing on all cylinders. Josh Giddey has been a revelation for this Bulls squad, doing a little bit of everything and stuffing the stat sheet. He dropped 17 points, grabbed 9 boards, and dished out 7 dimes in their win over the Hornets, not to mention leading the team with 4 steals. The kid's versatility has been a huge boost for Chicago, and he's quickly becoming the engine that makes this team go. Lonzo Ball also gave them a nice lift in limited minutes, putting up 10 points off the bench. If he can keep ramping up his production, it could give Chicago a much-needed edge as they look to build some momentum. But let's be real, Chicago's defense on the road has been downright shaky. They're giving up over 116 points per 100 possessions away from home, and that's just not going to cut it. If the Bulls want to stay competitive, they'll need to tighten the screws on the defensive end and clean up their rebounding. That's been another weak spot for them, and it could be a problem against a Raptors team that thrives on second-chance opportunities. Speaking of the Raptors, things haven't exactly been pretty up north. Toronto is 7-19 on the year, stuck in the basement of the Atlantic Division, and riding a brutal 4-game skid. Their latest loss, a 114-104 setback against Miami, showed some of the same issues we've seen all season. They struggle to score consistently and haven't been able to close games when it matters. Still, there are some bright spots, and you can't overlook RJ Barrett, who's been putting up 23 a night and doing his best to keep this team afloat. He's been the glue for the squad, making plays and keeping them competitive even when the results haven't been there. Jakob Poeltl could be the X factor in this one. The big man has been a monster on the boards, averaging 11 rebounds per game, and he's got a chance to feast against a Bulls team that doesn't exactly dominate the glass. Grady Dick has also been a pleasant surprise, taking a big leap in his scoring this season. He's gone from being a solid role player to a legitimate weapon, putting up 18 a game, and if he stays hot, the Raptors might finally find some offensive rhythm. Even though the Raptors have had their struggles, there's something about them playing at home. The fans still show up, loud and proud, even though the team hasn't given them much to cheer about. That kind of energy can be contagious, and it might give Toronto the boost they need. But let's not forget, the Raptors are still without key players like Scottie Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley, which leaves some big holes in their rotation. Here's where I'm at with this game. Toronto might be the slight favorite, but I'm just not sold on them. 7 wins on the season and a patchy lineup don't exactly scream trustworthy, even with the home court advantage. Chicago's no juggernaut, but they've been playing decent ball lately, and they've been better than advertised on the road with a 7-6 record. The Bulls have also shown they can rise to the occasion. They've taken down teams like the Bucks and Grizzlies, and they've beaten up on squads they should handle, like Washington and Detroit. This one feels like it's Chicago's to lose. Their defense might make you sweat, but they've got the tools to outlast a banged-up Raptors team. If they can control the tempo and keep Toronto off the boards, I see the Bulls covering that plus 2-point spread. It's going to be a grind, no doubt, but I'm leaning towards Chicago in this one. They've got just enough firepower and grit to edge out a win in what should be a close, physical battle. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Sacramento Kings and Denver Nuggets. This matchup between the Denver Nuggets and Sacramento Kings has all the makings of a thrilling West Coast battle. Both teams are loaded with talent, but inconsistency has plagued them this season. Let's dig into why I'm leaning toward Denver pulling out a win in Sacramento. Denver's been picking up steam lately. They're coming off back-to-back blowout wins, including a 30-point stomping of the Hawks and a 22-point dismantling of the Clippers. Nikola Jokic, man, what can you even say at this point? He's playing like the best big man on the planet, arguably the best ever. The numbers are absurd, over 31 points, 13 boards, and nearly 10 assists a night. It's like watching a cheat code in real life. And it's not just the stats. The guy makes his teammates better every time he steps on the floor. Jamal Murray's been shaky most of the season, but in these last 2 games, he's shown flashes of the guy who carried Denver through the playoffs. If Murray's found his rhythm, this team becomes a nightmare to deal with. Russell Westbrook deserves a shout-out too. Coming off the bench, he's embraced his role and given this team a spark. He might not light up the Bucks' score every night, but his energy and hustle are undeniable. Just look at his impact in their last win: 5 points, 5 dimes, 3 steals, and a team best plus 21. That's the kind of depth that makes Denver dangerous, especially when Aaron Gordon's back in the mix, bringing that physicality and athleticism on both ends. The Kings, though, have been on a bit of a heater themselves. They've won 4 of their last 5, and you've got to respect what Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox are doing. Sabonis just dropped 32 points and pulled down 20 boards. He's a machine in the paint. Fox, meanwhile, is putting up over 26 a game and already gave us one of the season's biggest highlights with that 60-point explosion against Minnesota. These two are a lethal duo, and if Sacramento's going to have a shot, they'll need both of them firing on all cylinders. But here's where the Kings lose me. They've been a betting disaster. At 10-15 against the spread, they've been burning money for weeks. Even at home, where they should have an edge, they're just 6-7 straight up. That kind of inconsistency is hard to trust, especially against a Nuggets team that's finally starting to look like itself. Sacramento's defense has been a weak spot all year, and if Jokic starts orchestrating like he usually does, it could get ugly fast. Now, don't get me wrong, the Kings can score in bunches. They've had some wild games lately, like those back-to-back 140-point performances against the Spurs and Jazz. But even in those games, they've shown they can be a little too loose on defense. Against a team like Denver, that's a dangerous game to play. For me, this one comes down to trust. The Kings might have a flashy offense, but Denver's got the tools to outlast them. The Nuggets are deeper, more balanced, and have the best player on the floor in Jokic. If Murray keeps trending upward and Westbrook continues to thrive in his role, I don't see how Sacramento can hang for 4 quarters. I'm going with the Nuggets here. It's not just about Jokic's brilliance, it's about the team finally clicking around him. And while I'll admit I'm a little biased as a Nuggets fan, I genuinely believe the squad is starting to turn a corner. Sacramento will put up a fight, they've got the firepower, but in the end, Denver's talent and experience should shine through. Give me the Nuggets to grab the win, and don't be surprised if we see the scoreboard light up in this one. This has over written all over it.